back to it again. Real walk.
What do you mean I'm not on a runway?
I feel like the whole world thinks they know me.
That's hot. That's hot.
Sorry, I'm so used to like playing a character that it's like hard for me to like be normal.
No one really knows who I am.
I'm always putting on this facade or just like happy, perfect life.
Have fun.
And you're happy?
Sometimes.
They say trauma, the mind may forget, but the body never forgets.
What's up, Belgium?
And it's trapped in you. And it can come out whenever.
Stop!
I don't even know who I am sometimes. I didn't used to be that way.
Something happened in my childhood that I've never talked about with anyone.
I just heard screaming, bloody murder.
But I couldn't tell you guys because every time I tried, I'd get punished by them. I still have nightmares about it.
Here we are at Paris' school.
And the only thing that saved my sanity was thinking about who I wanted to become when I got out of there.
Just created this brand and this persona and this character, and I've been stuck with her ever since.
Is that enough?
No.
Hey guys, I wanted to make this video as I sit in my car because my kids are doing homework. But I just watched the This Is Paris documentary, and I gotta tell you, I thought there was a lot of stuff in this documentary that really resonates with everything I talk about on my channel. From attachment and childhood to parenting to trauma for sure. And after watching just a couple of sort of therapist reaction videos, I was kind of horrified. There was a lot of judginess and frankly a lack of education around trauma, and getting caught up in the fact that she made that she had a sex tape, which was frankly revenge porn and not a sex tape for the sake of a sex tape. And it just really broke my heart that I really think that this video that she made, this movie that she made, it wasn't really able to go deeply into her trauma because I don't think she's yet been able to go into it. And that's what I wanted to just share with you a little bit about from a trauma perspective today and a parenting and childhood perspective. I think that her being who she is, it's really easy to get caught up in the Hilton thing and the money thing and the selfie thing. And frankly, yeah, we could make a whole video series around the impact on the culture, which her trauma may have impacted. But that's not what this documentary was about. It was about her wounds, her story, and frankly, the story of the survivors with her in the documentary. And just like conversion therapy, which is bullshit, let me say, these programs are not therapy. They're not therapeutic. When you're abducted out of your bed, that's not therapy. When you are beaten and tortured and isolated and you have to run away from a program, that's not therapy. But going through something like that can really affect your trust issues, I'm sure, with everyone, let alone therapists. And frankly, there's a lot of crappy therapists too. So I get it. But I want you to know, if you don't understand this industry of the troubled teens or conversion therapy, and this is when you try to make somebody straight who's born gay, if you don't know what that is, which is ridiculous. And I just want to come out and say that these types of experiences are so traumatic for people, and it clearly was for her. And so what I want you to see is that everything from her attachment, the early years before she even went into this program, to her acting out and being abducted, there's a relationship there. And I'm not going to judge or diagnose because frankly, it is unethical for me to do so with actual humans I don't know. And I don't have any interest in labeling anyway. What I want to focus on is that the heartbreaking nature of these programs, thinking about her being abducted and held against her will and beaten and isolated and her running away. Like I thought, my God, this is a woman with a strong spirit. But I was just amazed at her fighting spirit, and that's what's gotten her through life so far, clearly. But the truth is she's been carrying trauma on her back this whole time. And along with trauma, there is shame and people-pleasing and inner critic and outer critic and all of the things I've been talking about. Certainly common trauma symptoms like flashbacks and nightmares and anxiety, probably and depression, all of that. And, then the idea of her having this traumatic, abusive experience and then coming out in the world and never telling anybody and carrying this shame, which is very common. And then those of you who have these kind of messed up parents or childhood stories, you know what I'm talking about, why you don't talk about it. You can't be at a dinner party and talk about your shame and your trauma and abuse. We're not supposed to tell those secrets. So she's been carrying this secret for most of her life. And of course it didn't fit with her brand. It doesn't fit with any of our brands to have this. But for someone like that, it makes total sense. And so I just want you to know that, her coming out and then also finding herself in other abusive relationships is very common for trauma survivors. Her being the victim of revenge porn, like I keep saying, is abuse and traumatic. Even from the sort of chaotic being busyness, like that can be a part of trauma that can look like ADD or ADHD, we call it now. All of this in terms of how we see ourselves in the world, her wanting to make $1 billion, that can be just about not only getting safe and being independent from her family, but in her mind, there's some like arbitrary, number where she's going to be okay. But the truth is that you can have literally, you can be the head of Amazon, you can be Jeff Bezos, and trauma will follow you your whole life. I always say it will just sit like a little bird on your shoulder waiting for you to deal with it. It will never leave you. And many things we can't just get over. We can learn to live alongside. We can learn to thrive in spite of. But these kinds of traumas can impact even things from like her baby voice to the way we talk. It can be that sometimes we have traumas, they can stunt our development, which is very common, and we don't get to progress through adolescence. And so we still see ourselves as a child. And she even says that in the video. Lastly, it broke my heart that her identity as a businesswoman and icon and all those things is still so enmeshed with her and her brand. But I hope for her that she can find a loving, firm, boundaried, good, strong therapist with trauma experience to help her heal. Because you can have the world at your fingertips, but with that kind of wound, it doesn't matter. And so I hope that you will remove yourself from judging the outside of this and just focus on the trauma part and get how impactful it is. And that it takes strength to share with the rest of us these stories. And I hope that her courage and her resilience, frankly, regardless of the tools she's had, she's just a human being. That it shines the light on these programs, on this abuse. I know that parents with broken kids will do anything, and we don't often know what we're getting into. But it's kind of late now. We know a lot more than we ever did. And so if you're a parent and you're looking for resources, please do your research. You should always be able to talk to your child and know that kids who are being tortured will lie to you. So even if they're saying it's fine, it doesn't mean it's fine. There are other ways to get help besides shipping your kids off somewhere. I'm sure there are some great programs. This is not my specialty and I don't know where they are. So with all due respect, perhaps they exist. But I want you to know that I know it's hard when your kid's struggling, but these types of experiences, which they probably came into the program already having some traumas, either self-inflicted or through the parenting, can really set a kid up for lifelong difficulty. And I know that it's traumatic for us too as parents sometimes to have our kids struggle a lot, but it's usually connected. And I hope that you will watch it with an open heart and love towards those who've experienced things in this world that you will never know. Because almost everyone I've ever met is walking around with some kind of wound or trauma and shame that they may never tell anyone about. But over the course of a lifetime, and especially a decently long one, we're going to have bad things happen. And the only way to heal is to, in a safe way, when it's appropriate, open up and get the help and support and resources we need. So thanks for watching. I hope that if you are someone who's experienced these programs, that you will know that you are worthy, regardless of who you are and what your story is. And I saw it in the survivors. It just broke my heart. And so I hope that you guys and people like you are getting whatever support you need. I know it's not easy to find. I know it's expensive and all of that. But it is so important. I want to say, as a therapist, please know, you guys, that there are those of us who truly do love our patients in a healthy way, that we love helping people, and that we have good, strong boundaries, that we would never do things to hurt them, and we want them to grow. And that these industries are just that. They are industries. They are not therapy. They are abuse. All right? And I hope that you will find the healing and love that you deserve. Bye, guys. Stay safe. Thanks for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to and hit the bell, and that way you'll get notified when I post new videos. And if you did like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. All right. Thanks so much again. Stay safe. Bye.